What's going on, guys? This is Bias Lewis here. Welcome back to the channel, and today I'm bringing you episode 4 of writing a book from start to finish. Now, as you all know, that I'm writing a sci-fi book, and since it's episode 4 and I'm coming to a close finish, I thought it'd be a nice time to do a progress report. And what I mean by a progress report, I mean let's see how far have I actually gotten since I started writing as of last month in March, about mid-March. And as you can see, I've been writing, so it's not like I'm trying to hit you with the okey doke and I'm doing these episodes and I'm not getting anything done, guys. Believe me, I'm getting something done. I'm writing pretty much on all my off days that I'm not at work. I come in my office, I shut my door, I turn on some calming concentration music, and I am writing. Right now, my word count is a little bit over 16,000, which is actually good pacing because I'm aiming for 80,000 words. And if you think about it, my next chapter will pretty much put me over that threshold of 20,000 words. My first novel is actually only 60,000 words, and I'm pushing towards 80 to 100,000. So it's going to be a much longer story. This book will be. And plus, if you read, when you read my first book and then you read this book, it's going to put a lot of things into retrospect, and it's going to bring a lot of nostalgia going on with the readers once you start reading a lot of stories that I have written or thought of that I cannot wait to push out to the world. So as you can see, guys, I've just finished chapter 4 and I'm on my way to chapter 5. And one thing that I want to let you guys know is that before I start writing every chapter, I go back and read the beginning and the end of each of my chapters. And the reason why is this because you want to make these first two lines, more punchier. You want them to captivate the reader's attention, and you want them to establish some type of engagement as well. So this is why I mainly read my first and last chapter before I start my next chapter, because when I start the next chapter, I want to start off where I left off, and that's more so of the straight to it, and it's more punchier writing, and you get to go back and strengthen some writing that you made that you thought and knew kind of was a little weak, but you can go back and you can strengthen it because it's already there. You just have to focus and play with the words and see what matches and what don't. Remove something or add something. It's up to you as the writer and author, because that's one of the things that you have at your discretion is your creativity and your uniqueness of how you want to provide or roll out your own story. Now, with that being said, I am on my way to chapter 5, and I have a few things that I would like to share with you guys because, as you know, I'm at about 16,000 words. Like I said, a little bit of over 16,000 words, and that's like a dissertation. It's pretty much if you're a PhD student or you're writing a thesis in graduate school, that's a little bit over. That's a small thesis or a dissertation. So what I'm going to ask you to do this, and what I'm going to recommend is, if you've written in Word, if you have already started writing your story in Word, Google Docs or Scribble or whatever it is that you use, I'm going to recommend you to use Google Doc. It's free, first of all. I don't know, it doesn't come with a paid subscription. No, Word can be on a little bit more of the, it's not very consistent when it comes to writing. And sometimes Word cannot pick up grammatical errors, small grammatical errors, like a word missing between a word. Like if you put she was running and you just put she running, Word will not pick that up. However, Google Doc will, and it will actually suggest that when you go back to and hit it with a spelling grammar correction. So, as these documents are long, they're lengthy, and sometimes when you're writing, you as a writer cannot tell when you are missing a word because in your mind you're saying the sentence, but you are skipping over words because they're so short, and you're focused on getting the content down, which is good because you're doing something, you're getting the content down. So it's always good to have another set of eyes like I do. My first two chapters, after every chapter, I had my wife go through the chapter so she can know, or she can let me know if I was missing anything. However, since she said that she was tired of me giving her a story that wasn't finished, now I'm giving it to her. I'll tell her to read it after every 2 chapters or so. Maybe 2 to 3 chapters. I'll tell her to read it and go through, and she'll make her corrections or add missing words or error punctuations that I miss because that's what happens when you're writing, unfortunately. Unless you are an editor and you're author at the same time, even if you are an editor and you write a book, you should still get your book edited by someone else. You can edit it, but you still need to go and get it edited by another person, because a set of eyes or a biased set of eyes will work against you because that only, it's like confirmation of, oh, you think you got a good book, you're going to read a good book, versus somebody who's looking for these errors will pick them up, and you'll never know because it's your book that you wrote. Another thing that I wanted to share with you is going to be how you plan on delivering your story. So, and if you don't know that, I talked about this in the first episode, first, second, and third episode almost. I'm always actually talking about this. So readability is going to be very important. You have to remember that you are delivering your story to the world. When you are doing so, you want to make sure that you are not misinterpreting anything. There may be a certain way that you're going to phrase things that you're going to think is going to fit, is going to work. However, when you let somebody else read it, they may not get it. And the best thing to do is just to go back through and make it as simple as possible to the reader. And that way you get the message out and nothing is being confused. Like I said, number one rule is if you confuse, you lose. And that is what we don't want to do. But I was actually going to make an episode last week, but I didn't because, like I said, I was creating my short film, The Therapist, which is out right now. I'll leave the link in the description below. And I got to shoot with my kids, and they really enjoyed it. We had a absolute blast shooting it. I got it edited, and it's now available on YouTube. So you guys, you go ahead and check that out. And these are some of the things these are like certain books or stories that I wanted to start writing on, but I have so many ideas. And some of the best ideas that I have, I will save for literature. I will write books for them. But some of the books that I do have that are more so concept ideas, I'm going to start creating short story films. And like I said, if you like the content, make sure you hit that like button and subscribe, guys. And let me know what you would like to see next, because I do this, and this is just pretty much my hobby. I love creating. I love writing. So anytime I get the chance to create or write, that's what I'm doing. I've built a nice little work area for myself, so that way I can make sure that I am working and tying myself down and enjoying something that I really do. It's a hobby. It's almost like therapy. It's like therapy for your own self. You get your own time. Everybody understands what you're doing, and you have nothing to worry about it. And what you're writing about, what you're going to be creating, and how I'm going to be editing in DaVinci Resolve. So, and that's the software that I like to use on any type of video that I edit, even my YouTube videos. I use DaVinci Resolve. If you go back and look at my video that I shot over with my Porsche, then you'll see that all that editing and all the effects that I use, the transitions, all that comes from DaVinci Resolve. So, but this is the checkpoint, guys. I thought I'd just check in with you guys for a progress support. Over, like I said, I'm north of the borders of 16,000 words. Next chapter pushed me well over that 20,000 mark. And that's going to be like one of the achievements that I'm going to obtain. And it's been a month, and this month is not fully over yet with, and this month is not quite over yet with. I still have a few more days left in it, and I plan on at least starting chapter 5, and before the next week comes around for myself, and I'm going to try to get out chapter 5 next week, and that'll be the end of part 1 of this book. So I'm excited. I'm super excited. I'm actually on a much faster pace than I was with my first book, because that book actually took me 6 months to finish. And that was because there was a lot of things that went on. I had a big move and everything, but it took me 6 months to finish. And this book is moving along at about 4 to 5 months, maybe. So it's April now. I'm May, June, July, maybe July to August. I think the book will be done in August. Hopefully it'll be done editing in August, and I'll be querying this book. But I'm super excited, and it's a great story. Great content. I cannot wait to share this stuff with the world. And hopefully, if you are writing your story and you're thinking about to start writing your story, go back and look at episode 1, guys, and just go along with me. You don't have to pace yourself the way I pace myself, because like I said, this is my second book, so I already kind of know what I'm doing. I already have a layout or outline that I'm going to be using, and it's just simple, as simple as that, guys. You get better over time, and these books starts to write themselves. So once again, guys, it's by Isaac Lewis. Thank you for watching. Until next time, I'll see you later.